Uncharted 4 is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and definitely I'd say in the top 5 of when it comes to linear action adventure games. And this year marks a special year for the game. It turns 10 years old. So initially I was going to just kind of do a 10-year anniversary video, but those don't seem to do very well on my channel as of lately, or as of right now I should say. So I decided to go ahead and to celebrate 10 years of Uncharted 4, to do what does do well on my channel, and that's a trophy guide. So this isn't going to be like a full-on platinum guide because it does require more than one playthrough. But I am going to do the majority of trophies. So what we're going to start with is the collectibles. Now I know there's a ton of guides already, this game being 10 years old, but I've been wanting to do a trophy guide for an older game, something that's near and dear to my heart. So we're going to start here. I'm going to try to get this collectibles guide done in 2 parts. So with this first part, it's going to be chapters 1 through 9, and the second part will finish off the rest. So without further ado, if you've been with me for a while, please leave a like, comment, and if you're new, consider subscribing, because I got a lot more content coming on the way for Uncharted and a bunch of other games. So with that being said, let's get into the guide. So chapter 1 doesn't have any collectibles, so we're going to start with chapter 2, and there's only 2 treasures in this level. So the first one is going to be the Panamanian cat idol, and it's right here, kind of like as soon as you get control of Nate, be down here in this well. And if this is your first time playing the game, which I hope it's not, you should pop a trophy for that, for grabbing your first treasure. It's the Panamanian cat pendant, sorry, not idol. Second one, quite a bit later after you've done some scaling and climbing, we're going to find the Navaja, either Navaja or Navaja knife. Not sure how it's pronounced, but it's right there on the floor before you break open that window to continue your climb. Moving on to chapter 3, the Malaysia job, we got 4 treasures and 2 optional conversations. So it's a little bit confusing finding these first 3, I would say. But as soon as this chapter starts, you're going to head to your right and go to like where this fallen log is, and you're going to find the antique padlock. Now from here, I didn't want to do any cuts because I don't want to confuse you, so I kind of forgot where it was. So I was like kind of do a little bit of like circling around, so just kind of follow my pathway here. You could see I thought I knew where it was by memory, but either way, I mean this I remember the first time I played this this mission, I was completely blown away, and I mean still to this day, like, this game looks ridiculous. It could come out right now and like still be a 10 out of 10. So moving along, we're going to come over here, go into this fallen log, and we're going to find the Chiriqi shark trinket, located right over, it's kind of like, it's pretty well hidden. These treasures out in this chapter are very like well hidden. So there it is. You can see the sheen there down to your right. Go ahead and grab that little antique Chiriqi shark trinket. And then this next one is after you find the trailer. I kind of put a point of reference here. So like you get to the trailer, have a little bit of dialogue, and then what I like to do is open the door and kind of use like it as a reference, like a landmark basically, to find this last one, because it's very well hidden. It's like in the seaweed off to the left hand side from here, I think it is. But anyway, as you can see, I'm in the cargo container now. Head out, straight out. Gonna get your bearings, and then we're gonna head over here to the right. My apologies, I said it was to the left, but it's to the right. Starts to get real murky out here. Looks like nothing would be out here, but then bam, you can see the little glint. And that's the antique pocket watch, which I don't even really know if it's an antique. Anyway, moving along, we're going to have our first optional conversation. So as soon as you drop down and go over to the right, and you can initiate this optional conversation. That's one of two in the chapter. And remember, these are time sensitive for the most part, so you could miss out on them. If you do, just reload your checkpoint, and you should be able to activate those. The good thing too is, like, in chapter select, it'll tell you like how many of each collectible that you have, so it's a good way to kind of keep track of it. Next one right after that immediately is up here. You want to talk to this guy.
How we do? How do you think?
Initiate that conversation.
Every last bit.
And then the final treasure of the chapter is right behind you once you're done talking to this guy. It's an antique arcade token. So that's all for chapter 3. Now we're going to move along, I believe, to chapter 5. I don't think there's any in chapter 4. Oh, there's not in 4 or 5, so chapter 6. So this is a lengthy one. This is kind of like the first full primary kind of chapter. So right when it starts, head over to the left of the edge of this cliff and pick up that Mughal water container there. And then after this little cutscene where they talk about the guards with the guns, and you get up here, there's going to be a treasure, and then immediately after that, an optional conversation. So once you get up here, you're going to want to just kind of head straight, like straight into the right. Down here where this house is, you're going to find the Nephrite brass cup on this windowsill. And then after that, Sam's going to do a little bit of talking, and you're going to want to wait until the optional dialogue bubble pops up and trigger that one. Also, this is going to be like pretty spoiler free too, so if you haven't played the game, don't worry, I don't have any cutscenes in here or anything like that. It's just focused on the collectibles. So after a little bit of a climb, we're going to go down here to trigger the second optional conversation. And he talks about his drawings from his previous adventures. Pretty funny little conversation.
Are they up on the fridge or something? No, they're good drawings. Can't wait.
Now, moving along, once you get inside of the estate and you meet up with Sully, as soon as the cutscene ends, turn around and go back into the room you came out of and grab the Viking cloak clasp that's right there on that desk. Very easy to miss that one. And then as soon as you like kind of make your way through these crowds of people, go out to the balcony because Sam goes out there, and it's going to trigger the third optional conversation.
What are you doing? I'm just going over our exit strategy.
And after that conversation plays out, you're going to want to turn around from this location and walk like all the way to the end, and we'll find the next treasure. So if you walk over here and over to the right on that little ledge, we have the next treasure. So we check it, and these are all in order too. So Mother of Pearl Horn, that's the treasure. So if you miss one, it's going to show up as like, you know, the question marks. And you'll see too, not in this part, but in the next part, I do miss a treasure in chapter 10 that I have to go back to. So you'll see what I'm talking about in part 2. But either way, as soon as you get to this part, head over into this area here, all the way to the back, and tucked away, you're going to find the Persian bronze bowl. Pretty well hidden there. Next up, we have the Barber brass bowl. or I think it's the brass barber's bowl, or yeah, brass barber's bowl. I know I put it in there wrong, but you know, don't miss that one there. Once you get to this part and you climb up the ladder, this one's also really easy to miss. Like over to the left hand side, you can climb up onto that roof. So one of the things I thought was really cool about this game is the climbing areas are like a lot more realistic looking. You know, they don't have that yellow paint that most games are plagued with, like telling you can climb stuff. But either way, there's that treasure right there, so don't miss out on this one. And then this one, right after that, you come to this area, and this is like a secret area that you wouldn't even normally go to. So you come down here, go over here around the corner, climb up this ladder. I'm going to do a little bit of platforming to get to this one. I don't know why I thought I could see what I mean, though. It's like, you know, really organic the way like the things you can climb on are in this game. But you can see the glint there from the treasure. I remember the first time I was going for the platinum trophy. This was one, because I don't look up guides. I do them on my, like, I like to find things on my own. So that one took me a long time to find. So that's the Syrian vase. Now we're gonna go after, I believe it's the final treasure of this chapter. So once you get to this part, after like, this is quite a bit later, after some cutscenes and stuff, climb down there, and then up here on this little ledge is the Mughal dagger. So moving on to chapter 8, the Grave of Henry Avery. I have a bunch of collectibles here, 11 treasures in total, and this is going to introduce journal entries and journal notes as well. So right when you drop down in the beginning of the chapter, you're going to want to start heading uphill and to your left. And way up here in the corner, so you can tell I'm kind of going off memory. I knew there was a treasure up here, but I couldn't remember exactly where, so I'm searching for it. This is how many times I played this game. I'm just doing it kind of off muscle memory, but it's right there. The vase is some sort of vase treasure, and then immediately after that, head downhill. All the way down, you can see Sully's playing off in the distance. And there's this like little kind of like cave. And that's where there's the bronze boar treasure. You wouldn't even be able to see Sully's playing unless you came down, because this isn't even like part of the main path. But kind of cool little detail that you could see Sully's playing out there in the ocean. Now, after the first little short gunfight, when you come to this area here, this is where you're going to use, there's going to be a pretty large gunfight after this treasure. But before you start that, you're going to want to come all the way over here to the right and kind of come around the corner and grab that treasure there. Very well hidden. And that's the carved wood kashkul. Now, after the gunfight and you've opened up the pathway with the yellow box, this one's also very well hidden. You need dynamite to get this one, so make sure you grab some out of the crate and toss it into this little cave here, and it's going to blow up some boxes. And there's, I think, a flintlock pistol. No, that's not here. So, but either way, the treasure right there, the carved nut bottle, which I promise is not sexual, even though it sounds pretty gross. But once you get to this part here, and you'll hear the dialogue where he's talking about how he's been shot, stabbed, poisoned, all that. You're going to want to come around here, climb around here, and you're going to get the traveling inkwell with seal hidden very well in this little alcove right here. It's kind of funny, these some of the names of these treasures. I always wondered like where they came up with what treasures we're gonna put in the game. You know. Either way, once you get to this area, you'll see the handholds over there, which automatically invites you to a place where there's obviously some sort of a collectible, and that's the carved ivory vanitas. Now, once you've come to this part here, where you lift up the gate after a lot, I think there was a gunfight, maybe not. Either way, once you get into the graveyard, jump over this wall here, and this is going to be the first journal entry of the game, which would also grant you a trophy if it's the first time you've played the game. Now, moving along after you've found the grave inside of the catacombs here, the crypt, I should say, you're going to find the first journal note of the game, and this should also give you a trophy as well. Right there on the floor. Now, moving along just a little bit further, once you come to the puzzle, hit a left here and go around to the statue and grab that Scottish hawpenny. And I had to look that up just to see how much one of those would be worth. I was curious, and they range from like $4,000 to $10,000 depending on their age and condition. Just kind of FYI, I thought I'd throw that in there. But this is going to also trigger an optional conversation right here too, so don't make sure you don't, as soon as you're done taking down the journal entry automatically, it's story related, trigger that optional conversation. And then as soon as this one's done, you're gonna go around the corner and it's gonna trigger another optional conversation, like, or maybe not. I guess I scratched that. Oh no, it is. Sorry. But you have to solve the puzzle first. So then you get optional conversation 2 and another journal entry that's automatic if you trigger the conversation. So quite a bit later, once you've come out here, make sure you grab that journal entry too by clicking the left thumbstick. That one might be automatic. I can't remember, but just to be sure, make sure you trigger that. After you talk to Sully on the radio, we're going to grab a couple other treasures here. Now, it's kind of funny. Most of the treasures are in areas of combat. But the Slipjoint clasp knife here, I guess technically you can get them after the combat sequences. But I ended up grabbing this one during, or before I initiate combat, I should say. You come over here to the left-hand side in this little cave. Also, you could pick up the flintlock pistol too, which is an accumulative trophy for using all the weapons in the game. So you might as well grab that and get a kill with the flintlock pistol while you pick up this treasure. Now, this is the same area, so like right after that, you come up here, and there's a few guys. I think there's like 3 or 4 guys up here. But over to the right, see, I'm just showing this. Get a kill with. I didn't even kill him, but either way, we're gonna go after the Pewter singing bird box. Yeah, flintlock pistols weren't the most accurate things, even though they're my favorite pistol of all time, just because of how they look, and I'm obsessed with pirates. So I really want to get my hands on one day. Alright, so after you've come up here, this is like the route that Sam took to get up here. But be careful here, because I died trying to drop down onto this ledge, because there's a trophy down there. Just be careful. Drop down. This is the tortoise shell snuff box, so that's pretty cool, but that's worth something. Alright, so once you get into the cave with the crashed pirate ship down there in the rocks. We're gonna jump over here. This is the main story path, but I just wanted to like add context to like where exactly it is because it's easily missable. I'm gonna jump across, and instead of going up the stairs, well, we're gonna go up the stairs, but instead of going like, and that journal entry, that's automatic, so don't worry about that. Instead of going up those stairs to the main path, you're gonna go underneath and hit a right over here. You're going to find the scissors over here, the antique scissors. Persian tailoring scissors, technically, is what they're called. Alright, so moving on to chapter 9, those who prove worthy. 6 treasures here. And right when the chapter starts, make sure you grab that journal entry. And press triangle, grab that journal entry.
Good thing.
And I think, does this trigger? I thought maybe it triggers an optional conversation. But no, so, okay, so we're going to go over here. And there's going to be a treasure, like, down from the current position of where Nate is. I wanted to leave this in here because I didn't want to confuse you on the location. But basically, you're going to drop down there. And we're going to find the lantern-mounted flintlock over here, which is pretty cool. A flintlock pistol with a lantern on it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool idea. Except that it'd be gas-powered, and I don't know how safe that is. Anyway, after you've solve the water wheel type cross puzzle, don't forget to grab that journal entry right there before going through the door, because it will go away. And then once you come through here, the main path is, I think there's like a little fork right here, and the main path is to the right, but if you go over here to the left, it's gonna trigger another optional conversation. So come over here to the left and make sure Sam follows you, and he'll come up here and wait for the little prompt to appear and initiate that conversation too. That one's easily missable.
Enough explosives, they're gonna find out sooner or later.
So after that conversation plays out, we're going to move along towards the main path, and we're going to grab the first of 3 strange relics. Now, this has its own trophy tied to it, but they also do count as treasures. So for the overall treasure trophy, that counts towards that as well. So climb down here, and then you can see that there's a little thing that you can attach your grappling hook to. And this one's actually really cool. It's an Easter egg for The Last of Us, which is pretty awesome. So over here in this little cove, you're going to pick it up, and it's a firefly pendant with the name of Druckley on it, which, if you don't know, that's a mashup of Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann's names, which are the original creators of The Last of Us, as well as the directors for this game as well. Now, moving along, we're going to grab another treasure here. This one's easy to miss as well. You come over here to this one, instead of going on the main path, and you drop down. You're going to do a little bit of climbing down, and it's tucked away on that top of that rock there on the ledge. And that's the amatory box, which I have no idea what that is. Next up, quite a bit later, once you get into this little crypt area, You're going to want to go over here, go under there, and there's a hidden on that ledge, there's the pewter box. Now after you've done this section, getting the box to climb up, we're going to grab the memento mori skull compass, or whatever it is. But yeah, it's down here. You might have seen it earlier, but you can't access it until you get to this part. This is after the long cutscene with Nadine and Rafe. The memento mori skull watch. That's what it's called. Pretty cool. All right, now once you've used get to this point, you use your rope on that box that you're eventually going to use to help Sam to traverse over. There's like a little, it looks like a little bar area maybe right here, but you're going to want to jump over, climb over the boxes, and there's a treasure right here, the Scottish tipstaff. And then finally is the final collectible of the chapter is the journal note. So this is unmissable. It's missable, but it's on the main path. You just have to interact with the dead body and pick up that journal note there. And that's going to do it for the collectibles. For chapters 1 through 9, part 1 of the video is complete. We are going to pick up in chapter 10, the 12 towers, in the next part. So hopefully this guide helps. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you're new, like I said, consider subscribing. And for those of you that have been with me this far, thank you so much. All your support, truly, truly appreciated. Catch you guys on the next one. Applerski out.